Hello everybody. So today we look at some of our hidden, lost, mistaken, damn right, never happened history. And it's one of those areas that seems to come up quite a lot in discussions. People get angry in Cymru about little being made of the native First Nation built castles associated with our kings and princes. And we seem to focus on places like Caerphilly, Carnarvon, Chepstow and the like, and not Baden, High-Bath, Trevelyan and so on, which those last three would have been built by the kings and princes of good old Cymru before the Norman onslaught really took over our land after 1284. One of the things I'm reminded of when being a great fan of the film Schindler's List 1993 with Ralph Fiennes is that Eamon Gough, who Ralph Fiennes plays as a senior leader of the Nazi Party, in regards to concentration camp and the governance over an area in Poland, is that he makes a statement in the film, and the film is very much based on lots of factual bits and pieces. Well, basically, it's about the extermination of the Jewish population. And one of the things that it mentions is that I'm quite surprised that Ralph Fiennes in the film talks about Krakow being a place that a Jewish family came to, and the Jewish family become very prosperous, and then suddenly turns around and says that never happened. So in other words, the admission that a piece of European history is to be discarded from history altogether. And for those that are shouting at the screen and thinking, well, actually, other people went to concentration camps. Yes, there were gypsies, homosexuals, political prisoners, and all the rest of it. Yes, but the film was specifically about the Jewish population going to concentration camps and the Jewish population being erased from history, as would the gypsy population being erased from history, as would any people being disabled being erased from history, and so on in the late 1930s, 1940s. So that's a key point. Where it affected 12 million people being exterminated and removed from history, 6 million being non-Jewish and so on, 12 million people being erased from history, that's quite a lot. And even then, we don't really see the memorials to other peoples that went to the concentration camps, like the gypsy population, so on. So even big areas of that are removed from history in modern history, what chance have we got of thinking about the history that we find within our own land of Cymru? Now, one point that I see blaringly obvious to understanding hidden history is the year 1536. We'll look at this again. But does anyone remember or realise why 1536 is an important date? Act of Union between England and Wales, end of story. But why did that happen? Well, leading up to that, in the early part of the 1530s, was a chap by the name of Howell ap Rhys. Howell ap Rhys rose up in rebellion against Henry VIII. And there's another figure in regards to this. He's a chap known as James ap Griffith ap Howell. Now, this is another individual who wanders around Wales and Europe saying that things, Henry VIII is a bad guy and so on. But that's directly linked to Howell ap Rhys and his rebellion in the 1530s. In that, both figures seemingly have been erased from history. Howell ap Rhys in particular with the rebellion in regards to Llandovery and the West Wales area, and it actually hit North Wales. So that rebellion was quite big. Have you ever heard of the Welsh Rebellion of the 1530s? my likelihood, if we took a vote on this, is that 95% of you, if there's 200 people watching this, will never have heard of the rebellion. I certainly had never heard of the rebellion until about a year and a half ago. So Llandovery, it was destroyed and slighted and removed from history. And guess who had the credit for that? Owain Glyndwr in the early 1400s, 1403. So even though a figure within Welsh history was remembered as destroying Llandovery Castle, the credit wasn't given to the proper individual, Hywel ap Rhys, and his slighting and destruction of other castles in West Wales, and a very successful rebellion until Henry VIII did a little bit of a political act, and Hywel ap Rhys was removed from history. An Act of Union 1536 was as cause a result of this rebellion, because Henry VIII needed to do something once and for all with this little tick on his side, as in Cymru, Wales. So that being a point which is a removal from history, I know it's a historical event, but it's a physical event that has been attributed. When you think about it, Owain Glyndwr, wherever I go, right, Owain Glyndwr is blamed for everything, right? And lots of people who don't like this flag, they say it's attributed to Owain Glyndwr. We don't like Owain Glyndwr. Owain Glyndwr is a great rebel. No, he was a prince. He had a princely claim to be the great king of this new world that he was putting together in 1399 into the 1400s. There's another point to be made about Owain Glyndwr in a minute. The point to be made about Owain Glyndwr is ipso facto strange, because Owain Glyndwr, the reason why Owain Glyndwr went to rebellion was in regards to Lord Grey, who was a supporter of the new king, Henry IV. Owain Glyndwr had been a favourite of King Richard II. Now, the thing is, King Richard II was removed from history in 1399. And one of the key reasons why Owain Glyndwr went to war against those people over the border who were his lords was simply because he wanted to bring Richard II back to the throne. And that is a key issue. And then when he knew that Richard II wasn't going to come back to the throne, he decided the tripartite agreement, Hotspurs, Waterways, and Owain Glyndwr. But that's something else. But then the other point is this. I've got a new book coming out, and it's about the Battle of Cowbridge. I've written big chunks of it. It was about the Battle of Cowbridge. Now, the Battle of Cowbridge occurred in the summer of 1404. Now, it's referred to as the Battle of Starling Down, Battle of Holybush, and so on. And people say it was a skirmish. It wasn't. It was a major battle where Owain Glyndwr nearly destroyed completely, utterly, an English army of about 2,000 coming over the border with his army of somewhere in the region about 800, 900 soldiers. But they knew the terrain. Henry's son, Harry, Prince Harry, was nearly killed in that battle. If he had been killed in that battle, the events of 1415, Agincourt, would never have happened because he would have been dead. However, the reason why I mention that is that very few people talk about that as a major battle. They talk about it as a minor skirmish. And the same thing can be said about the Battle of Woodbury. Battle of Woodbury in 1405, it's almost said that Owain Glyndwr with his French allies just played around on the battlefield, whilst Henry IV is standing there on another hill, and basically they wave at each other. A couple of people are killed and they go home. Is that what really happened at Woodbury? Really? Could it not have been the death of Owain Glyndwr at the Battle of Woodbury in 1405 that led to Owain Glyndwr disappearing from history? Or was it a matter that it was such a major success for the Welsh that the English didn't want to talk about it? What exactly happened that day? Those days. Apparently the battle took place over 9 days. A skirmish took place over 9 days. So there's another thing in history as well. All these things we need to look at. In 1482, on the 11th of December, Llywelyn ap Gruffydd was killed in a field with his squire by a chap by the name of Adam de Frampton, or Frampton. Now, the story is that we've got to get the right guy, not Owain Glyndwr. Llywelyn ap Gruffydd went to Builthwell's castle to ask for some help. Well, what? Help with what? Because Llywelyn ap Gruffydd apparently marched to South Wales with his army. So why would he need help from an upgrade squire or an upgrade sheriff from Builthwell's castle? Why did he need to go there? And then you start to think, and then there's this story of a smithy shoeing Llywelyn ap Gruffydd's shoes the wrong way round and then betraying him to the English and all this stuff. Absolute crap. Crap, and crap. It's all crap. The whole story of Llywelyn ap Gruffydd being in Kilmary and his death is absolute crap. And I believe that something more important transpired. It's quite possible that he led his army and they fought bravely in a battle against an army that was 2 or 3 times the size, and they were all massacred. Not a single one was allowed to survive. And one of those people that was killed was Llywelyn ap Gruffydd. Thinking about all that, we've gone a little bit over our time today, so we're only supposed to be doing 10 minutes. So think about all that, agree or disagree, right? Let's be those true rebels and get out there and try and shine our history in the way it should be shone. And it's telling the truth about history, not lies. You can agree with this, you can disagree, but the sentiment is there. Don't forget to like, subscribe, press that bell, because I want to be doing these every single day. Look up Hawl ap Rhys ac and also the figure James ap Gruffydd ap Hywel. Look them up, and also look up Llandovery Castle and what happened to Llandovery Castle. You'll find very little about the rebellion, and then it says the word rebellion. Look at the history books. There were no rebellions in Cymru after the Owain Glyndwr one. The Welsh were subdued and subjugated under English imperialistic rule, which we have been today. Jack at the North, thank you very much. But the fact of the matter is, what we've got to do is, whether I want to sound like a nationalist, a Republican, which I'm definitely not. Definitely not a scum the ball Republican. But however, I'm an archaeologist, and if we can tell the history of our land betterly, then we can unite all those Republicans, those nationalists and those monarchists, and say, actually, we've got a history. Now make of you will of it. Diolch yn fawr chi, gwelwch chi eto, ac ffitio efo'r un awr, diolch yn fawr chi, diolch. Karl-James Langford, and, like, again, I said like and subscribe, anyway. There you go. Any comments down below, please. Llanelli, Brian, chuck it in there. And Monica, I know you're probably watching, because you do. Monica, you love me, I know you do. Anyway, take care, bye.